Am I the asshole for helping my friend get a job? I am a 35-year-old female, and my best friend is a 25-year-old female. I convinced my friend to join the business I was in. Let's call her Sarah. I explained to her that we could make a lot of money and be our own bosses by selling various household items. She was skeptical at first, but I managed to persuade her by showing her how much I had already made and telling her that this was the perfect opportunity for us to be financially free. Sarah quit her job to focus on the business full-time, just like I did. We attended all the meetings and events together and were both convinced that we were going to be successful. However, Sarah just wasn't good at it. She struggled to make sales. No matter how hard she tried, she just lacked the charisma needed to make it, and was too worried about bothering her family by asking them to buy. She eventually fell behind on rent and was evicted from her apartment. She had nowhere to go and ended up living on the streets. Even then, she still believed in the business and thought that she just needed to work harder to make it work, but has now decided that it is my fault she lost everything. Our other friends are calling me an asshole and saying I'm the reason she and her kid are homeless. Looking back, I don't feel much remorse for what happened to Sarah. I was just trying to help her. It's not my fault that she couldn't make it work. I am sorry she is in a rough situation, but she could have been more committed and worked harder. So am I the asshole for getting my friend the job of her dreams?
Comments. You didn't help her get a job. She had a job, and now she doesn't have a job thanks to you. You enrolled her in a multi-level marketing scheme. You are the asshole.
Another comment says, you are the asshole for not telling her the only way to make money is to trick others into joining the pyramid scheme.
Am I the asshole for connecting to the earpod after my niece swallowed it to see if it would play in her stomach? When my 3-year-old niece swallowed my sister's left AirPod, everyone started worrying right away. I was trying to lighten the situation, so I connected the AirPod to my phone and put my ear on her stomach to check if I could hear it. Surprisingly, I actually did hear a little sound coming from inside her, which made the moment a bit funny for me. But the people around us didn't really find it amusing. They all looked at me like I wasn't taking things seriously at all. I was just trying to calm the mood, but instead I ended up being the only one laughing, while everyone else was still stressing about the AirPod inside her.
Comments. This will eventually become one of those family stories that gets told over and over again. Once everyone else knows she's fine, they'll also likely find it funny. So, what song did your niece's belly play? Another comment says, if your niece laughed and is okay, then it doesn't matter. It'll be a joke for the two of you in the future.
And another comment says, AirPods contain batteries. Swallowing a battery is a medical emergency that could cause severe internal chemical burns and perforation, which can be fatal. You think that's funny?
Am I the asshole for refusing to pay to have my friend's house cleaned? I had to quickly come down to the city where I grew up due to the death of a close family member. It was a pretty spur-of-the-moment occurrence, and I had to drop things rather quickly. I informed one of my friends, and they offered to put me up for a few days. I said that would be great, but told them I'd have my dogs with me, so totally understood if they wouldn't be able to. The friend said it would be fine, and they were more than happy to host me. For context, my dogs are not badly trained by any standard, but they are both large breed dogs, a lab and a GSD, so of course can be a bit much for many non-dog owners. I'm aware of this, and that's why I usually don't bring them to people's houses. I made the 5-hour drive down, and my friend came out to greet me. When unpacking the car, I let the dogs out, and immediately they went off to toilet since it was a long trip. My lab went into the bushes to pee, but the GSD began to pee in the middle of the front porch. Don't ask me why, but she much prefers peeing on hard surfaces. And my friend immediately freaked out. I was a bit confused and apologized, but it's outside, so didn't get why she was so freaked out. The dogs were fine the entire stay. They are non-eventful inside. They let me know when they need out, and I clean up the poo straight away. I keep them under good supervision. At the end of the trip, my friend sent me a text saying, "Hey, as you'd know, the house is quite messy because of the dogs, and I'm going to hire a cleaner. Would you mind paying me for that?" I was a bit taken aback. The dogs had 0 accidents inside, didn't break anything. I asked what she meant, and she explained that there was dog hair everywhere. The thing is, they are shedding dogs, I know that. If she'd asked me to vacuum up after them, I would have, but she didn't. I also don't think a deep clean would be necessary. A quick vacuum of the carpets, couch, bed, etc. would be more than enough to remove any trace. I don't know what to do. I didn't ask to stay with her, she offered. I told her about my dogs, and she was fine with that.
Comments. So let me get this straight, and I say this as an owner of one lab, but have had two at the same time in the past. A friend allows you to stay with two large shedding dogs last minute, and you make no effort to vacuum or otherwise contribute to cleaning before you leave. I'd be so embarrassed to leave without cleaning after staying that I'd have paid for the cleaner in a heartbeat. You appear incredibly entitled and disrespectful to your friend, and a clear asshole. Another comment says,
You should have vacuumed without her having to ask, during and before you left. You have dogs that shed. You should have been overly conscious about making sure the place is clean before you left and during your stay, especially if it's a non-dog household.